Design of Goods and Services by Shakia Bundig. Design of goods and services is the creation of products with new or different characteristics that offer new or additional benefits to the customer. Product development may involve modification of an existing product or its presentation or formulation of an entirely new product that satisfies a newly defined customer want or market niche. Like Apple, for instance, they're continuously growing and changing their specs, their technology. Um, Different modifications are made to the iPhone as it continues to take its journey each year. The selection of goods and services is a key factor when planning to produce a new product and or service. The basis for any organization's existence and success is based on the goods and services they provide. Most of the company's focus will be on fewer products to maximize their success, but because most products have a limited and predictable life cycle, the company still needs to think about taking to the market to design and develop new products. One product strategy is to build a particular competence in customizing an established family of goods. For instance, Apple. This approach allows the customer to choose product variations while reinforcing the organization's strengths. The term product mostly refers to tangible goods, but it can also refer to offerings from a service company. An effective product strategy links product decisions with investments, market share, and product life cycle, and it also defines the product line. Now, product strategy does focus on developing a competitive advantage while building the company's revenue. When generating new products, you have to understand the customer, economic change, sociological and demographic change, technology change, political and legal change, and market practice, professional standards, suppliers, and distributors. The importance for generating new ideas is to generate a substantial portion of sales from products less than 5 years old, and to also have a high volume of new product when it's needed to maintain current activities. Creating a successful design has a lot of implications, and it also requires you to be very focused on the product at hand when you're trying to develop a new product. There are 8 basic principles to successfully designing a product and or service. They are to translate the customer's wants and needs, refine existing products and services, develop new products and services, formulate quality goals, formulate target calls, construct and test prototypes, document specifications, and translate products and services specifications into process specifications. The process of design has certain steps that include motivation, ideas for improvement, organizational capabilities, and forecasting. In the product process, innovations, research, and development play a significant role because of the influence a product and service design can have on an organization. The design process is encouraged to be tied with the organization's strategy and must also take into account some key considerations. Service design is an activity of organizing and planning people, communication, and material components in order to improve service quality. It is the interaction between the service provider and customers and the customer's experience. A service is anything that is done to or for a client and is created and delivered simultaneously. The two most important issues in service design are the degree of variation and requirements and the degree of customer contact, and which determines how standardized the service can be. The greater the degree of customer contact, the greater the opportunity for selling. Now, in addition, concepts and ideas generated are captured in sketches or in service prototypes. The strong visual element combined with the opportunity to test and rapidly change services and interfaces delivers real value in today's competitive market. Product design combines aerodynamics with product and business knowledge to generate ideas and components and convert them into physical and usable objects or services. The discipline covers the entire range of activities from concept, marketing, testing to product launch. Product designers conceptualize and evaluate ideas and themes they find profitable. The designers make these ideas tangible through products using a systematic approach. Now, the difference between service design and product design is that service design is an intangible aspect, like brands, goodwill, knowledge, patents, trademarks, while product design is tangible, and that's anything that you can touch, anything that you can hold or move. And these services are generally created and delivered at the same time and cannot be held in inventory like actual products. Also, services, especially quality ones of quality, are highly visible to customers. Many services and products go through four different stages during their lifetime. Since the demand can vary for each of these four stages, different strategies should be applied to achieve optimum product and service performance during each stage. These stages are introduction, growth stage, the maturity stage, and the decline stage. Now, the first stage of the four stages within product and service life cycle is introduction. And during this stage, the product is introduced to the market. Proper research and forecasting is typically done to ensure the product service is adequate for a specific market and for a specific time. It is crucial to have a proper amount of supply that can meet the unexpected demand for the product and or service. Now, they are being fine tuned at this point, and they may warrant unusual expenses for research, product development, product modification, and for enhancement and supplier development. Now, the second stage is the growth stage. It involves the increase in demand for the product and/or service. The reputation for the product grows, and an accurate forecast of demand is reflected. That is show a need to determine the length of time the product and/or service will remain in the market. Enhancements and improvements are common during this stage. The third stage in the life cycle is the maturity phase. Competitors at this point are established, and you have to innovate to stay profitable and not to lose your market share. Now, the reputation for the product grows, and an accurate forecast of demand is needed to determine the length of time the product and or service will remain in the market. Enhancements and improvements are common in this stage. The final stage is the decline stage of the product life cycle stages. Um, as you expect, it is often the beginning of the end for a product. And when you look at the classic product life cycle curve, which is on the next slide, the decline stage is very clearly demonstrated by the fall in both sales and profits. Despite the obvious challenges of this decline, there may still be opportunities for manufacturers to continue making a profit from their product. Some of the challenges in the decline stage are first, the decline in the market. During this final phase of the product life cycle, the market for a product will start to decline. Consumers will typically stop buying this product in favor of something newer or better. And there's generally not anything the manufacturer will be able to do to prevent this. Another challenge is the falling sales and profits. As a result of the declining market, sales will start to fall, and the overall profit that is available to the manufacturers in the market will start to decrease. One way for companies to slow this fall in sales and profits is to try and increase their market share, which, while challenging enough during the maturity stage of the cycle, can be even harder when a market is in the decline phase. Another is the product withdrawal. Unfortunately, for a lot of manufacturers, it could get to a point where they are no longer making a profit from their product, as there may be no way to reverse this decline. The only option the business may have is to withdraw their product before it starts to lose them money. There is a bright side to the decline stage, which are the benefits. While there are only two, they still matter because they could make a change for the better good of the decline phase for the business. Um, One of the first benefits is a cheaper product. Even during the decline stage, there may be opportunities for some companies to continue selling their products at a profit if they are able to reduce their cost, that is. By looking at alternative manufacturing options and using different techniques or even moving production to another location, a business may be able to extend their profitable life of the product. A second benefit is cheaper markets. For some manufacturers, another way to continue making a profit from a product during the decline stage may be to look into new, cheaper marketing for sales. In the past, the profit potential from these markets may not have justified the investment needed to enter them. But companies often see things differently when the only other alternative might be to withdraw the product altogether. Standardization may be great for a company creating products like pencils because there are not many things you can do to them to make them unique and keep the price down. Standardization products have interchangeable parts, which increases productivity and lowers the cost of production. Standardization has many important benefits and certain disadvantages. Now, some advantages are the design costs of standardization products that are low. The scheduling of work inventory, handling, purchasing, and accounting activities are routine, making the quality more consistent. The disadvantages with standardization are that they decrease variety offered to customers, leading to less of an appeal. Also, the high cost of design change does make it relentless to improve. Mass customization is a strategy that some companies can use to incorporate customization while practicing standardization. This strategy keeps costs low while adding variety to a product. The two factors that make mass customization possible is delayed differentiation, which is a supply chain technique that delays finishing a product until the last possible moment in the supply chain. This does help with aligning supply and demand and potentially allows products to be customized. Some examples will be paint, automotive, fresh packaged foods, and fashion. And the second tactic is modular design, which is a design approach that creates things out of independent parts with standard interfaces. This allows designs to be customized, upgraded, repaired, and for parts to be reused. An example of this would be Lego plastic construction toys. Now, some companies may consider delayed differentiation if the company chooses to not finish a product due to unknown customer preferences. And producing a computer is another example of modular design as well. The modular design is again a form of standardization in which um, component parts are grouped into modules to allow easy replacement and interchangeability. Now on to product by value analysis. Value analysis is an approach to improving the value of an item or process by understanding its constituent components and their associated costs. It then seeks to find improvements to the components by either reducing their costs or increasing the value of the functions. Now, it should be used to determine and improve the value of a product or process by first understanding the functions of each item and their value, then its constituent components and their associated costs, in order to reduce their cost to increase the function's value. It should be used to first analyze a product or process to determine the value of each component. Two, when looking for cost savings to determine components that may be optimized. And three, only when the item to be analyzed can be broken down into subcomponents and realistic costs and values allocated to these. In order to understand value analysis, it is necessary to understand some of the key concepts. Those key concepts are value, function, value analysis, and need. Value is the ratio between a function for customer satisfaction and the cost of that function. Function is the effect produced by a product or by one of its elements in order to satisfy customer needs. Value analysis is a methodology to increase the value of an object. The object to be analyzed could be an existing or new product or process, and it is usually accomplished by a team following a work plan. And lastly, need, which is something that is necessary or desired by the customer. To the right is a diagram of a basic design for a pencil and the key concepts and how they're used. Now, functions may be broken down into a hierarchy, starting with a basic function for which the customer believes they are paying, and then followed by secondary functions which support that basic function. The purpose of functions may be aesthetic or use, and basic functions may be either or both of these. For example, a coat may be a function used of making you warm and an aesthetic function of looking attractive. The product or process may be broken down into components which can be associated with the functions they support. The value of the product or process may be then increased by improving or replacing individual components. This also applies to the whole item being analyzed, which may be completely replaced with a more functional or lower cost solution. Although this is a simple sounding tool, it can be quite difficult in practice, as it requires both deep analysis of the product or process to be improved and also an innovative approach to finding alternatives. Once you've gained a better understanding of product value analysis, you want to remember six things about generating a new product. And that is to understand the customer, economic change, sociological and demographic change, technological change, political and legal change, and market practice, professional standards, suppliers, and distributors should also be looked into. Now, product development system is one of my favorite stages. It is an effective product strategy, that links product decisions with cash flows, market dynamics, a product life cycle, and the organization's capabilities. Now, the product development system may very well determine not only the product success, but also the future of the organization. The stages of product development produce concepts that are used to develop variety of sources. Those sources are both external and internal to the organization. The concepts that survive the product ideal stage progress through various stages with nearly constant review, feedback, and evaluation in a highly participative environment to minimize failure. Then the reason I like product development is because of the methods that are used. There are 8 different designs to use. I'm a very artsy person, so I like being able to design things. So my favorite thing to do is draw and design things. So that's why I like product development. But back to the presentation. One of the methods, one of the designs is a robust design. It's designed to be manufactured uniformly and consistently despite adverse manufacturing and environmental conditions. Time-based competition is another method. It uses faster developers of new products, gain on slower developers, and obtain a competitive advantage, making product life cycles shorter. Another design is the modular design, and products are designed in an easily segmented components while adding flexibility to both marketing and production. Computer aid design, which is one of my favorites, is also known as CAD, CAD. Products are designed at a computer terminal or workstation, and the computer is used to draw the product. Another one is virtual reality. It's another one of my favorite. It creates a 3D model of the product using computer technology. Value analysis, which focuses on design improvement during production while seeking improvements leading either to a better product or a product which can be economically produced. Environmental friendly design is a safe, environmentally sound product that is produced using minimal raw material and energy waste. Green manufacturing makes products recyclable through the uses of recycled materials, making it less harmful when being used. It also uses less material and energy as well. Quality function deployment, or QFD, is a process for determining customer requirements and translating them into the attributes that each functional area can understand and act on. It is used early in the design process to help determine what will satisfy the customer and where to deploy quality efforts. One of the tools from QFD is the House of Quality, which we'll get into later. Now, QFD defines the relationship between customer desires and the product, which is considered the first step in building a world-class production system. The house quality is a part of the quality function deployment process that utilizes a plan matrix to relate customers' wants to how the firm is going to meet those wants. That can be achieved through 7 basic steps. First, to identify the customer's wants, then identify how the good or service will satisfy customer wants, relate customer wants to product hows, identify relationships between the firm's hows, develop important ratings, or highest value is where highest value is the most important for a successful product, evaluate competing products, which is good, fair, or poor. Um, the last and final basic step is to determine the desirable technical attributes, your performance, and the competitor's performance against these attributes. Another use of the QFD is to show how the quality effort will be deployed. The series of houses does help to determine where to deploy quality resources. This is very beneficial when it comes to organizing for product development, which is normally in which there are 4 approaches to organizing for product development. The traditional U.S. approach is an organization with distinct departments like research and engineering. The advantages to this is fixed duties and responsibilities that exist. Next, you want to disadvantage is the lack of forward thinking. SWOT analysis to see. Another approach is that product would actually assign a product manager to champion the product through the product. You want to see how development system and related organizations would be for the company. Another approach is a use of teams divided into departments. At that time, product development teams charged with moving from market requirements for a product to achieving product success. And the objective is to make the good a successful good. Feasible ideas. The use of those teams is also called concurrent engineering. This is the use of participating teams in design and engineering activities. It implies a team representing all affected areas. The product another approach is Japanese bias. The team the team issue by not subdividing organizations into departments like customers' wants are. And the activities are all in one organization. The next stage is the functional specifications. In this area, you want to look at how the specifications of the products are going to function, at what speed, at what cost, at what rate, and how well they are going to perform. And if those specifications are too much, could you add more specifications? You want to make sure you test out that idea as well. You want to go over the product specifications And the product specifications is what the product is going to do, what exactly the product is capable of doing. Then you want to review the design. And when you review the design, you want to be able to have all factors into play so you're able to get a good analysis of the design. Once all the strategies have been approved, the product concept is transformed into an actual tangible product that you can actually review. And all branding and other strategies decided previously are tested and applied in the stage. Testing the market, um, you want to look at the actual prototype as it's introduced for research and feedback, actual customer feedback. So it will be introduced to the market, and you will test out how well the product is actually going to do. This product is of utmost importance as it validates the whole concept and makes the company ready for the launch. Once it is actually tested, you want to introduce it. Once you've introduced the product and it has great customer reviews and people are actually taking to it through the test, um, the introduction stage is the initial stage of the product life cycle where we'll see those four steps. And last, you want to go back and evaluate every single thing from the beginning to the end. That will be from the concept all the way to the introduction, in my opinion. So that way you can see where your failures actually were and how weak your product development was during the whole entire process. And that concludes my presentation. I hope everyone enjoyed, and I do thank you for your time.